starting today, but in the evening. And if you check around, quite a number of conferences have been going around. August is one of those months where conferences really come. And I hope that you listen in and you learn and allow the word to change you completely, and you will have a lot of fun in the Word of God. All right, today is a Monday, and you know what happens on Monday. I'm believing that Liveii will be coming out later on in the show. We have some conversation about the things that have been happening. But, you know, as the days go by, I start getting heebie-jeebies because I had made a promise that if Harambee Stars win this tournament, then me and Angela is one of our ladies who does very nice tea. We are going to read news. And with what is happening, it looks like this might happen actually. I've started preparing my mind for this. Now, just in case you're the only guy in Jerusalem who doesn't know, Kenya's Harambee Stars marched into the quarterfinals of the African Nations Championship CHAN after a hard-fought 1-0 win over Zambia in their final Group A match at Kasarani Stadium. The decisive moment came in the 75th minute when substitute Boniface Mushiri broke free on the right wing and delivered a precise ball into the box. Ryan Ogam controlled smartly before slotting past Zambian goalkeeper Charles Kalumba, sending the 27,000-strong crowd into wild celebrations. The goal was a fitting reward for Kenya's relentless pressure after a tense opening half in which both sides struggled to create clear chances. Zambia pushed forward desperately in the closing stages, but Kenya's backline, marshaled with discipline, held firm. Now, with the victory, Kenya finished unbeaten at the top of Group A with 10 points, while Morocco followed with 9 after defeating DR Congo 3-1 in the day's other match. DR Congo ended third on 6 points, Angola collected 4, and Zambia exited bottom with a point. The win means Kenya will now face Madagascar in the quarterfinals at Kasarani on Friday, August the 22nd at 5 p.m.
I decided to come and say Hungary. Because we're all very worried that if we draw or lose, you're going to play out on the road. I don't want to play in front of our fans here. Yes. Yes.
You know, every time, now you can imagine those boys yesterday went home with 2.5 million. So far they've earned 5 million. I mean, the kind of monies that you go, you know, una struggle na bank kwa kupatia loan. These guys have just earned it hitting a ball, a leather shoed thing filled with pressure, and they scored and they've gone home with 5M each. Amazing, I must say, amazing. Right? It's times like that now that you start wondering, did I take the right career choice? Kimeumana. Security measures were significantly strengthened at the Kasarani Stadium and surrounding viewing areas ahead of the African Nations CHAN Group A match between the Stars and Zambia. Authorities had implemented extensive safety measures to ensure smooth crowd management, while traffic control teams directed travelers to use alternative routes to maintain optimal flow around the stadium. The measures aimed to provide a safe environment for fans and participants alike, allowed supporters to enjoy the high-stake encounter without disruption.
Very well, and we have been safe, and we are praying for our country Kenya to win.
And hii kikombe inabaki hapa Kenya.
Tunafurahia kukuja hapa ground ya Kibera. Sisi tunamtambua.
Vijana leo wamefurahia. Hakuna shughuli watu kwenda Kasarani. Vijana leo wameletewa mpira wapi? Kwa kiwanja Kibera. Screen ndo kidogo tu kidogo. Next time watupanulie screen kidogo.
You know, after a great celebratory mood in the country, well, things weren't that well in other parts as 2 people lost their lives and 1 was injured after a lorry plunged into a river in Bomet yesterday. According to local authorities, the accident happened around 4 a.m. when the lorry carrying 2 passengers veered off the road and crashed into the river. The driver died instantly while 1 other passenger and a 21-year-old man survived the crash. Police have launched investigations into the accident as rescue efforts and recovery operations continued at the scene.
Siku ya leo asubuhi kwenye saa 10 asubuhi tulikuwa na ajali hapa kwa hii daraja ambayo inahusisha lori ilikuwa inabeba abiria 2 ikaweza kutumbukizia ndani ya mto, na kwa bahati mbaya driver akahaga na abiria 1. Kuna kijana wa miaka 21 ambaye alibaki, na hawa abiria walichukuliwa kuingia kwa hiyo lori kwenye gari ya express coaches kutoka Nairobi kuelekea Kisii. Hapa kuna signs ilikuwa zimewekwa hapa na zimeng'olewa na wananchi, na himiza wananchi kwamba msijaribu kung'oa road signs zile ziko kwa barabara. Mwe waangalifu, wa driver wawe waangalifu kwa barabara wakati wanapoendesha magari, hasa wakati ya mvua kuna mist, na wahimiza waendeshe kwa upole pole sana.
Well, it's a very unfortunate situation. You know, in the last 2 weeks or so, thereabout, the country has lost close to 150 people through road accidents. You remember the Kisumu accident. Before then, we had lost close to around 50 people. The Kisumu took almost 40. I don't know whether others succumbed in hospital. And then there was yet another. So we've lost quite a number of people through road accidents, which is very unfortunate. And these are the times when, you know, you just pray and you ask God to help you, because as you travel, I don't know what happens. I remember in the past, August used to be the month where we would lose very high-profile leaders. We lost, you know, high-profile leaders around this time. This time it's been just accidents, accidents, accidents. Those are so many people. 150 people reporting to eternity is not a small number. And you know, most of the time you get concerned about their state by the time they were leaving Earth. So yeah, it's a huge number. Now, teachers in Isiolo are urging the government to release capitation funds for free primary and secondary education ahead of the 3rd term resumption to ensure uninterrupted learning. Led by the Kenya National Union of Teachers, Isiolo branch chairman Timothy Kimathi Mbaye, the educators stressed the importance of timely funding after concerns arose following comments by Treasury CS John Badi, who said the government may struggle with the high cost of free education. This came despite reassurances from President that the program would continue without interruption. The teachers also called on security agencies to address the rising insecurity in Isiolo County, emphasizing that safety is crucial for both students and educators.
Here today to sharply criticizing the government of Kenya for disregarding free primary education. The announcement which was made by the Treasury Cabinet Secretary clearly shows that the state will no longer finance free primary education. And that is already shows that there's a threat to access to basic primary education and educational for all in Kenya. Like last time, most of the secondary school closed before the official closing date because of the lack of the resources at the school. And already that will bring undercoverage in terms of the learning. And those are the same learners who are preparing to do the exam this coming term. So the government now disregarding free primary education shows that they are failing to honor their own obligation. Now what you are going to do that, you are going to create awareness within the parent to prepare themselves to pay school fees for their learners coming next term. Because the government is not ready. Now, particularly now, those who are affected are the learners from the poor family. Those who are from family with low income are the most affected one. Now, we are urging the same government as much as possible to put those funds in school account before the opening date, which is 25th of August this month. If not, we are going to prepare a very big demonstration together with the learners, parents, and the teachers on the street.
It will be very interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, the education sector has really struggled in our country for the last couple of years. And we hope that, something's going to be done to stabilize that, because education in any given society or community or civilization is key. If the education of a civilization is warped or is messed up, then everything goes off. So let's pray that things get right. Kapsabet residents have been urged to support President William Ruto for a second term in office by MP Martin Pepela during a rally in Nandi County. Speaking to the crowd, Pepela highlighted that the Luhya community has expressed confidence in the president's leadership, citing significant development achievements since he assumed power in 2022. The legislator encouraged residents to rally behind the president in the 2027 general elections, emphasizing continuity of progress and stability for the country.
Napata matibabu through NHIF, lakini sababu ya hard decision ya rais, saa hii watu zaidi ya milioni 20 na kitu wanafaidika na wanapata matibabu under SHA. Ndiyo sisi ndio tulikuwa tunataka. That's why tukiwa hapa sisi father ametuambia viongozi na wananchi lazima tukue na msimamo. Sisi watu wa Western under Papa wa Roma, msimamo yetu ni moja peke yake, ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Rais ni tuta. Sema hiyo. Sisi Waluhya tumesema tunampatia ingine ta.
Well, the campaigns have obviously, they started when we finished the election, when President Ruto was voted in and he took an oath. That's the time campaigns started for 2027. Now, tension is rising Goingwa Thika, where residents have raised concern over a factory set up right inside their residential area. Speaking to the locals, the media, the locals complained that the factory poses serious health risks, especially to children who are exposed to harmful effluents released into the air. The residents argue that such a factory should not be located in a residential zone and are now demanding swift action from the relevant authorities to safeguard their health and environment.
Ukiangalia hapa mahali ni estate, kitu ya kwanza. So sidhani kama kunaweza kuwa na kiwanda karibu na mahali ambapo watu wanakaa. Mtoto akipatikana na jangwa kama hii ya vuta hiyo hewa ambayo inatoka katika hiyo kiwanda, atapata shida, kwa sababu mzazi ndio atakuwa anagharamia hiyo mahitaji ya kupeleka hospitali, na mwenye kiwanda naye ametulia. Na kwanza ukiona sana kiwanda iko kwa boma, ukiona iko kwa boma, hiyo ni hatari sana hata kwa yeye mwenyewe. Asiseme amejizingira. Hapo kuna shida sana katika hiyo boma, kitu ya kwanza. Kitu ya pili, wakaaji wa hapa, juu tuko karibu sana maboma. Sasa ukipata hiyo kiwanda ikifanya kazi mahali pale, ina affect kila mtu katika eneo hili. Itolewe mahali pale, kwa sababu hata wakaaji, na naamini ya kwamba kuna watu ambao wajui iko pale, lakini sisi ambao tuko hapa tunajua kwamba iko mahali pale, na inafanywa ni kama mahali ambapo ni kazi ni biashara yenye iko na siri. So inafaa ikuwe public, watu wajue kwamba kuna kiwanda mahali pale, ndipo ili serikali ingilie, ijue kama imeingilia the right channel, ndio hiyo mambo isuluhisho haraka iwezekanavyo.
Now, surely, how do you set up a company right in the middle of a residential area? But again, remember, Thika had been designated an industrial area. So it's a question of the hen and the egg. Which came first? And what was designated in that area? Is it an industrial area or is it residential? Now, local communities in Wajir have come together to urge peace and harmony across the region. During a recent meeting, stakeholders called on the younger generation to embrace peace, emphasizing its importance for the stability and progress of the country. The gathering highlighted the role of unity and cooperation in fostering a safe and secure environment, encouraging residents to work together for the common good.
I promise to do all my best to lead this community in a very honest and transparent manner. And particularly, I want to tell the youth that you are my priority. I know we are sitting on a time bomb. A whole generation is getting out of the way. Many people are out of colleges, they have gone to university, there is no job opportunities, and they have been neglected. I know there is a lot of unease. However, I want to inform you today that you are my priority.
As a family of Mahat, we are composed of 9 elders from the clan of Mahat. We proposed him harmoniously without any conviction or any matter appertaining to our talks. We proposed him in a broad daylight in front of younger people, elders, mothers, all walks of life in Ajawa Social Hall, Ajawa Primary School.
Well, you know, every Sunday we have our Christian World Today, Christian News, and we look at some of the things that God has done in the lives of quite a number of people. And one of the stories that was featured yesterday was in the testimony segment, was a story of an incredible story of transformation and hope. Imagine a young man whose world had been turned upside down when his mother walked away, leaving him to face life's challenges alone. Searching for relief, he turned to alcohol, thinking it could numb the pain, but it only led him to deeper and deeper despair. Now, from rock bottom, however, comes a story of redemption. Here is that story of how Christ transformed this young man's life.
When I was 15, my mom decided that she didn't want to be there anymore, and so she left. I felt like I
All right, let's take a look at the newspapers, the dailies. Let me start with the Star. The Star says, rice farmers cry amid court fight and push to import more. This is what it says. I think there's a push to import more rice. And as we import more rice, we are killing the rice farmers, economy. Growers forced to sell for as low as 60 shillings per kilo to brokers. And this is really messing them up. Really messing them up. So they're in court. And then the front page of the Star newspaper, you have the picture of, fans in different parts of the city watching football. This was a very good thing for the government to have, screens put up in the CBD, in different places where people could watch football. And you can see the action as it was going on, people holding their hearts in their hands as some of our players basically missed good opportunities and vice versa. Then you have MPs reject Raila's stand and they defend constituency funds. IEBC gazettes Gloria Orwoba's replacement in historic move. And then money market reacts positively to central bank lending rate cut. Regulator noted overall inflation was expected to remain below midpoint. And then there's that story of the rice farmers who are complaining that there's a lot of importation of rice that's been done that is messing up their farming. The prices have gone so low, they're being forced to sell as low as 60 shillings per kilo. And they're saying, it takes more than that to grow a kilo of rice. KDC commits to support small businesses in far-flung areas. And then the back page, Stars stay on course. Debutants Kenya shocks Zambia to book home quarterfinal against Madagascar. I don't know how well Madagascar is playing. Is there a possibility that was Madagascar on top in their group? It was not. It was second. The question obviously will be, what kind of teams was it playing? Were they very high quality teams? Because I think our group was a group of death. It was the group that had the strongest teams. And quite a number of analysts were saying that it is from our group that the winner is going to come from. But football, they say, is 90 minutes, as Muredi says. You may have Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, all those, and then you lose. But we are believing that we are going to win. At least this one, I think, Motisha Iko. We have a very good team. Then the Daily Nation. Heroes, striker Rian Ogam scored the winning goal in the 75th minute, sending Kasarani into wild celebrations. This is how the paper looks. You have it on your screen. You have Harambee Stars there basically celebrating. And actually, they said, considered underdogs at the start of the African Nation Championship, debutants Harambee Stars stand Zambia in their final group match to advance to the quarterfinals as group winners. With a victory, the hosts retain home ground advantage in the knockout stage, while runners-up Morocco travel to Dar es Salaam to face Tanzania. What? Hey, Tanzania, I'm telling you, what Tanzania was speaking bad. They were saying Kenyans don't know how to play football. Even with all this money and all these winnings, TZ are saying Kenyan football is so low. And by the way, TZ is not a pushover. Tanzania is a very, very strong team. So it's one of those teams you have to watch out for. So Morocco needs to watch out for the Tanzanian team, because these guys, their passion for football is something else. Their league back home is so passionate. People cry, literally crying. Grown old men with gray hairs. They cry because their teams have been beaten. In fact, they were saying some of the people who are shining in the Harambee Stars would actually be benched if they played in the TZ squad. Yeah, they've said a lot of stuff. Then university fees shocker. First year students begin reporting to university today amid protest of unclear fee structure, including mandatory charges of up to 50,000 to secure admission, even as the Higher Education Loans Board allocations are yet to be disbursed. Then the petition to remove Chief Justice and 5 other judges has been kicked out. Obviously, if you brought a petition to me to remove myself, how am I going to remove myself? And then the UDA party is defying zoning calls to field aspirants in all 23 by-elections. They want to field candidates in all 23 by-elections. By the way, so you remember George Ngaira? George Ngaira is also vying, at least so far, as far as I'm concerned. He's going for the Malava seat. So put up some prayers for him. Malava suffered a very nasty thing, because one of the candidates, one of the gentlemen from UDA who had said that he wanted to vie, just collapsed and died. So that happened. But IEBC obviously is going to tell us exactly how they are going to do this, when the people are expected to return their papers, and we see how that by-election is going to go. Small Claims Court faces crisis as judges split over 60-day rulings, deadlines. And then MPs probe KEBS over costly car import checks. By the way, this thing, KEBS, this is just ridiculous. I mean, okay, we need to be told, munataka watu watembee ama namna gani? You don't want people to have cars in Kenya. Because there's a tender actually right now, and that's where people are fighting over KEBS and the rest. The battle for control of the lucrative tender for the inspection of goods destined for Kenya, it actually shifted to Parliament after playing out in the corridors of justice for years. The multi-billion shilling contract for pre-export verification for conformity to standards had long been lodged by controversy, with firms frequently protesting the tendering process. The Kenya Bureau of Standards invited bids for the 2025-2028 pre-export verification tender, which attracted 19 companies. Now that's where controversy comes in. Now CAS has backed a bill to give 1.5% of road levy cash to counties. I'm talking about Road and Transport Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir. He's backing that move. Actually, if that move is backed like it has and it's implemented, it might be a good thing, because it will help the counties do some things. But unfortunately, the counties have not been very, they've not done a good job in oversighting and implementation of the mandate they've been given. So there's a 50-50 feeling over the same. Auditor General flags 3 million rent bill for former prisons boss Warioba. Hey! Kenyans paid 3 million shillings rent for a former prisons boss despite being entitled to a house allowance, the Auditor General has revealed. Nancy Gathungu stated in her report, which is before Parliament, that taxpayers paid rent for the immediate former Commissioner General of Prison, Brigadier retired John Warioba. The financial audit report on the State Department for Correctional Facilities for the 2023-2024 financial year states that the provision of a leased house accorded Mr. Warioba a higher benefit than he is entitled to. Sema rudisha. Treasury dragged into fight for 60 billion police salary budget. Hey. Watu wanapigania tu pesa. You know, if they were fighting for all this money so that they can do good, it would be so nice, you know, if they were looking for all this so that, number one, they can develop the economy and state of roads and all that, or the police and National Police Service were fighting for this so that they can improve the welfare of the police. It would be so nice, so nice. But I can clearly say, from past records and past precedents, I don't think so. I don't think they're fighting for the welfare of all this. It's just a part, you know, when you control 60 billion shillings, that's a lot of money. A lot of money. I remember Oginde saying, Bishop Oginde saying, that if you had a billion shillings, you would be forced, for you to clear it in a year, you'll have to, was it a year or 2 years? You'll have to spend 100,000 shillings on a daily basis. Ile unamaliza, inaisha. So you can imagine. Then despair over impounded motorcycles. Kenya has more than 3,000 police stations. If each holds 30 motorcycles, the national tally could be around 90,000 motorcycles. By the way, there are so many. If you visit any police station, you'll be shocked. You'll think it's a motorcycle selling company or a repair shop. There are so many. Some which were crashed in an accident, some these guys basically violated traffic rules and the police decided to impound the motorbikes. And so they are all there. And by the way, after a while, there's an auction that is done. And you can be very sure people wanaponyoka na motorcycle. Why Ruto's bid to win back voters in Mount Kenya may be an uphill climb. Hey, this one, it's one of those. It's going to be a very difficult thing for him. Winning back Mount Kenya, unless Gachagua decides that he has stopped Gachagua-ing and decides that he's going to join Ruto in Rutoing the country. If that happens, then it can be an easy task for him. But as of now, it is very difficult. Kenya Moja bloc looking to upset political order with 2027 gamble. Advocate feels alliance is promising, but mixed loyalties invite questions about its durability. Then Kindiki is firing salvos at the opposition, tells them shun chaos, challenge President Ruto plan at the ballot. Today in history, they have the picture of Sharif Nasir. Now, I know quite a number of Gen Zs like Mike of the scoreboard would have no idea who Sharif Nasir is. Sharif Nasir is one of those leaders who basically, in as far as you couldn't mention President Daniel Moi without Sharif Nasir and Joseph Kamotho and Biwott. Because Sharif Nasir was the late President Daniel Arap Moi's mouthpiece. I mean, anytime Moi wanted to test the ground, Sharif Nasir is the one who would speak. And he would say ridiculous things. And then Moi comes in as savior to calm the nerves down once he has perceived that whatever they were planning to do was not good. So Sharif Nasir is the one who is in today's in history. Then we have the back page of the Nation. Stars shine bright, secure home quarter-final fixture. And Morocco hit DR Congo to join Kenya in the last 8. We'll find out later on how this match was. I didn't watch it personally. Ilikuwa mahali sitima nikapotea. Hata sitima sijarudi hata saa hii asubuhi. The Standard newspaper, insurance rip-off. When are we ever going to have, you know, a headline, some headlines, some good news? I'd like, you know, this against all odds, this is nice. At least they celebrated Harambee Stars. Kudos, Nation, for celebrating Harambee Stars. The Star had rice farmers crying because of Madhogodhanios happening in that sector. And the Standard has insurance rip-off. There's a lot of negative stuff happening, but there are also a lot of good stuff happening in the country. It's all a matter of what you're going to focus on. Insurance rip-off for thousands of county workers across Kenya. Medical insurance cards are nothing more than worthless plastics. Despite billions paid in premiums, hospitals are rejecting patients, forcing families into debt or despair. A Standard investigation reveals how rogue officials, brokers, and insurers have turned health cover into a silent but deadly scam. Eish. Then you have a breakdown of some of those amounts. 33 billion shillings is what the government owes hospitals in unpaid claims. 33 billion. And then 32 billion is arrears under the Social Health Authority, that is SHA. Then 76 million was paid by Isiolo to Jubilee Insurance out of the 120 million contract. 150 ma is the amount paid by Bungoma to Current Direct Insurance out of the 299 million contract. And then 134 million, excuse me, is the amount that was paid by Baringo County to the Kenya Alliance and Fast Assurance. Then 172 paid by Nyamira to Star Discovery Insurance, which is basically they were supposed to pay 198 million. And then 7.6 million was paid by Vihiga to Trident Insurance out of the 10.4 million contract, while 350 million was spent by Kilifi County on medical scheme, yet staff are being turned away. You know, this is just robbing. Watu wanafaa washikwe, wakamatwe na wapelekwe ndani. You know, how do you stop staff accessing medical cover, yet the county has paid 350 million. Then security agencies up their game at Kenya-Zambia clash, confusion over university fees as new students prepare to report. Then you have court suspends teens defilement trials amid blanket sex ban row. Oh, there are 2 defilements, not all. Studies show women empowerment improves children's future. Development projects win Ruto Nyanza support. A spent force. Why opposition cannot afford to write off Raila Odinga. Then mental health initiative launched to support new mothers in Vihiga County. And then Gachagua under fire from Ruto allies over remarks in the US of A. State can rake in 5 trillion by disposing of idle and old assets. This is according to supplies expert. Then Kindiki cash-laden empowerment tours face growing scrutiny. There's a lot of stuff that is happening in this country. DAPK is shaken to its core by raw ambition, tribal ties, and rivalry. Hapa Eugene atachujwa. He's going to find himself out of the party. There's a lot of things pushing. COG unveils new feeding policy to boost early childhood. Let's check. Back page. You got beautiful pictures of Kenyan fans. Then Harambee Stars forward Ryan Ogam celebrating after scoring against Zambia yesterday. Kenya came out of group of death unscathed. You know, I must admit, Kenya did well. Did really, really well. And I also give credit to President William Ruto for the incentive that he gave these boys. I mean, if first was, you know, you win this, then it's going to be 1 million per match, per every player. And I think also the technical bench is covered. So again, during this crucial match, he promised them 2.5 ma. So far they had won 2.5 million already in their accounts. Now another 2.5 yesterday. I think it's the best time for anyone playing Harambee Stars. I mean, playing for Harambee Stars right now, whoever is playing for the team right now, they're having the best time of their lives. Because some of them would never ever have even come across 1 million shillings. You know how Kenyan teams pay their football, their players? And we pray that they continue winning these matches. The next match against Madagascar, the president should come again and make a statement so that we see whether we are going to win this quarter-final. I know there's a promise to also give them at least, is it 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom? Affordable housing. There was a promise that was made by the president to them. Once I think they win something. So it is a great time for those who are players in Harambee Stars. And I pray that the same can be done also in other fields like rugby. Rugby sevens is very good. We are very strong in that, and if incentives are given to them, I believe they can be able to win. We have the volleyball, women volleyball. I don't know what happened to men's volleyball, but women's volleyball is pretty cool. And they go up to the World Cup. So if we can give them incentives, and since we've now seen the incentives work, if we can give them that, then it becomes cool. And also, my team. We need incentives. We play football. Tutaomba serikali ikuje hapa Jericho, waangalie hiyo timu ya Jericho. We see whether we can get incentives for those boys. All right? Okay, Murithi Mwitu unfortunately is stuck somewhere and he's telling me he won't be able to make it on time. With that, we got to bring down the curtains on this show. Don't forget that, you know, International Faith Summit starts today at around 9:30ish, thereabout. We are going to play you the opening speech and Ministry of the Word by Reverend Kavoy. And then later on, we'll also play you, we'll also do the rally, the evening revival meetings. We are going to show you that also. So stick around and I'm very sure your spirit will be built up. God bless you.